Welcome everybody to another edition of Selling Point. This is Innocent Mushamba, your host, and we are here for the much-awaited interview with none other than Digital Bae, Tafik Gotora herself. If you can see from her profile, she has made some incredible strides in the digital space. You know, she's one of the first published people that we have here on an international scale in terms of being an author. She's a speaker, she trains, she's also a lecturer with the Marketers Association of Zimbabwe. She's head of digital for Barker's Ogilvy, which is one of the oldest ad
It's
agencies.
the oldest and the biggest.
Oh yeah, in Zimbabwe, and we've titled today's talk "Digital Ad Man in Heels." You know, everybody who's been in advertising knows that someone who's in advertising is called an ad man. But now we're talking about the heels edition because this is a woman leading out a digital department within an advertising agency. So welcome, Taffy. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm very well, thanks. Happy to be here.
Yeah, excited to see you. I see you came in the regalia there. The red there is actually a Barker's t-shirt. I can see.
Yes, Barker's Ogilvy, Barker McCormack partnered with the Ogilvy Network,
Oh
which is
wow.
an international advertising agency network. So that's why I'm wearing an Ogilvy shirt.
Wow, wow, but that's an honor. I know
Yeah.
David Ogilvy. You know, he has been quoted by some as the godfather of advertising.
He is, and I've learned so much. I read a lot of his books as well, and a lot of his quotes are very popular, especially all the rebels, non-conformists are all gifted.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
one.
yeah, definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's start off by just asking and unpacking Digital Bay because I mean, people have seen you on their social media, people have seen you in trainings. A lot of people who go through the Marketers Association of Zimbabwe as well, who've learned social media, have learned it from you, and you've managed so many brands. So we just want to unpack who is Digital Bay and how did that term come to be?
Okay, what actually happened was when I first got into advertising, I met Sinashe Nyaruwanga, and he introduced me to a network called the Digital Republic.
Ah,
So it just started in that group, and then so
okay.
over the past 3 years, it has ended up being a moniker that I'm actually now using for my own personal trainings.
Ah, nice. So basically, in that particular group with the Digital Republic, people just started saying, "Hey, Digital Bay," and that's how that came
And
about.
then it stuck, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know. But when did you start doing digital marketing?
I started in 2014. That's
Wow,
when I
that's a
first
while.
got certified with Hootsuite. At that time, most of the trainings were done through Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a social management tool, but they've got a business unit that does trainings. So I first did my training there and got my certification there as well.
Wow. Wow, yeah, Hootsuite is an international company, so to be certified there is really something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I owe that to my former boss.
Oh, okay. By former boss, you mean
Before I got into advertising,
yeah.
I was working for someone who was in financial services. They were doing
Okay.
investor relations for listed companies. You know
Okay.
how they have to announce results, share prices, and all these corporate actions. So he said, why don't we start doing this? Let's start doing their social media investor relations. So I
Oh,
got trained through that, but I already had a passion for it.
for social media.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Was this something that you wanted to do from a young age, or how did you get into this space? What did you want to be when you were younger?
Okay, I'm a very spiritual person, so I'm gonna have to include my faith.
Ah, nice.
Well, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I saw myself as a lawyer, and that's just what I wanted to be. But then my A-level results at the time could not get me into the University of Zimbabwe,
All right.
so my dreams were crushed. So at that time, I went to church. It was a very white church, and
Yeah.
the pastor said to me, "God has given you intelligence, and you've got a great career that's awaiting you in something to do with IT." So when he gave me that word, to be honest, I didn't believe it, because at that time, people associated with IT were like either programmers or
Okay.
people that actually work on the hardware.
Oh, yeah.
So
So
I just thought
technical
maybe
people.
it's a prophet, but it was actually a prophecy. So
Wow.
now that I'm here and I see that it was actually accurate, and that was when I just finished my A levels.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. So you started off wanting to be a lawyer, and that was your dream, and you wanted to do that for your A levels. So then you discovered digital when you were working with this company. You said it is.
Big law management consultants. I used to work for Rob Stengrim.
So you actually got into law, but indirectly.
Well, it's not really law. It was more. It was more of his background was a stockbroker.
Oh,
at a finance person, but then he was doing like the investor relations consultants for those listed companies. So then he was now offering to do the investor relations through social media.
Wow. That is so it seems like you said you're a person of faith, so God led you in this direction. Would you have it any other way if you were to rewind time?
I don't think I would have enjoyed being a lawyer, because I would probably become emotional, because sometimes through pro bono you have to represent someone who's committed a crime.
Yeah. So what are some of the big milestones and memorable ones, like when it comes to your social media marketing, that you can say, hey, I've worked with such and such a company, or what was your first big break like? Because when it comes to social media, I know a lot of people, they manage brands, but there's always that experience to say, hey, this was the first time I really had an enjoyable campaign or something that changed my life.
Okay, so for me, I would like to say it was in 2019. I got a call from Econet, and they said, we've gone through your profile on LinkedIn. We need a female speaker. So there was, and then they said there's going to be two of you and Nobuntu. So I knew Nobuntu because she was already, I would say she's one of the first female indigenous, digital marketers that started getting noticed.
By Nobuntu, you mean Nobuntu Dewa? Is it? I'm not sure.
I think it's involved.
Yeah, okay.
So, so when I looked at the speaker list, I remember getting there for the Econet Omni Contact Masterclass. I remember getting there and seeing the program. I was going in after the COO, and I thought to myself, okay, he's the first speaker. He's the COO of a blue chip company on the ZSE, and I'm going to speak immediately after him. I mean, my bio is nowhere near compared to him. At that time, the COO for Econet was Fayaz King. But surprisingly, as I got into it, and when you speak from a place of passion, and it's easy. So when I got down, I saw all these people standing up, people getting up to shake my hand, and I thought, giving me their cards. Immediately, I knew that I had made it. So from then on, my boss then actually suggested that, why don't you teach at Marketers Association? I think you're not utilizing your talent. So that's the other thing I love about where I work, in that you have support, even if it's non-work related. So they said, no, we think you'd make a good lecturer. It'll be good for agency as well. Because really, if you teach somebody who's a marketing manager and you impress them, they're going to entrust you with their brand. True. So the break for me was the Econet Masterclass. But the most, for me, the most humbling one was last week. The Institute of Marketers in Malawi got in touch with me, and I did a class. And just the feedback I was getting, and they said, we need you to come back. We need you to do more. Wow. So just that the fact that I've expanded into the region and gone and taken my brand international, the Digital Bae brand, is exciting, and that I have the support of my employers is exciting.
Wow. Well, that's something, coming from Zimbabwe, doing a masterclass with the blue chip company, and then getting into Malawi now, and all those calls. Well, you've done great. We're going to take just a short break. We just have an ad that we are going to run. Guys, we're going to be getting deep in with Digital Bae, so keep your radios on, keep your Facebook Live on. We'll be right back.
Preventing new HIV infections and AIDS-related deaths among children, adolescent girls, and women remains very important. The Organization of African First Ladies for Development, WAFLAD, the African Union, and their partners are essential to advancing this global goal. We have made significant gains in reducing the transmission of HIV from mother to child, but progress has been stalled across the continent. And even here in Zimbabwe, as of 2019, the rate of mother-to-child transmission of HIV is 8%, and this is concerning when the target is to get to less than 5%. One of the many reasons for continued mother-to-child transmission of HIV is that many women living with HIV are not retained on treatment, and the viral load is not monitored throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding. It is important that every pregnant woman has access to antenatal care. Booking for antenatal care is the first step to protecting the health of the pregnant woman and her unborn child. Once HIV-positive women initiate antiretroviral therapy, They should not interrupt their treatment. Antiretroviral treatment is for life. It is important that husbands, fathers, and partners understand the risk of HIV transmission to their partner and child. We need communities to support mothers and families. I encourage peer support groups of women living with HIV, such as mentor mothers, to support each other throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding. We must also see how to address other barriers, such as user fees and long distances to clinics. I know that women face too many challenges, barriers to protecting their health. As a mother of the nation, I firmly believe that HIV transmission from a woman to a child can be prevented. I commit to continue working with adolescent girls and women, with communities and healthcare providers to make an AIDS-free generation a reality.
Okay, welcome back, guys. We just had a short commercial break. We're here with Digital Bay. That's Tafi Gotora herself. Before the break, she was introducing herself, how she got into digital marketing and how she got into agency work. And we want to get more into the training aspect of things because we've spoken about how she is head of digital. It's the oldest ad agency in Zimbabwe.
And the biggest.
The biggest in Zimbabwe, which is impressive. I mean, we don't have a lot of women who are actually in leadership roles, and it being Women's Month, what would you say it is like for a woman to be able to lead a whole team? Because you're head of digital. Yeah, I've been in that position before in an ad agency, and I know it can be really taxing.
Yeah, it's because creatives have to be managed in a special way.
Right.
So for me, my approach is I'm head of digital, but it's more of a functional position as opposed to loading it over them. So we have this almost, we're on an equal basis, but Tafi's role is functional. She's the coordinator.
Oh, I see.
So I'm not the type of boss that would be like, go make tea for me or
I
carry
see.
my laptop.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that girl.
By creatives, you mean graphic designers, video people? Like, how is it
Because
exactly
our
structured?
digital department is pretty big. We've got quite a huge portfolio. So I've got a team of about 12.
Yikes.
So we recently had to get another person to co-head the department with me because the admin and the coordination of the department
12 is a lot.
was becoming taxing. So my approach is that if you're in a creative space, a leadership, if a title is more of a functional role as opposed to, can you make tea for me and can
And
you
all
carry
that
my laptop,
being in- yeah, yeah.
put my machine on.
So this is a healthy mix of men and women, I'm imagining.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here and there you get in a work environment, one or two people will be difficult, but you've got to find a way to manage them. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all about relationship building. So on the training side of things, what was your first training like? Did you just start to say, hey, I want to start training? Or was it first of all the master class that then ignited all of that?
Okay, so what happened is I never even thought about training. So when Econet called me that they wanted me to be a speaker, that's when I got into it. And after I spoke, I didn't even think about it that I can actually be a lecturer. But it was my boss who then said, but Tafi, you are not utilizing your skills. You're passionate about this. I think you should be teaching at the Marketers Association. So then he connected me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So by lecture, you mean you actually create modules, you formulate them?
Yes, I do my own research. And the thing with our modules in digital is what I put in today could change tomorrow. One day I can teach you that on Instagram you can't post from a desktop, but there are hacks to posting on it.
Desktop,
Things are always changing overnight. Next 1 minute, LinkedIn doesn't have stories. Next minute,
It does.
So it's the work that goes into digital market, putting together modules for digital marketing is actually quite a lot because everything changes. So you need to stay abreast. You need to research. And I also sign up for other people's webinars, like international speakers. There's Mari Smith, Facebook expert. Yeah, so I'm always, learning from others. And then what I learn is what I then dish out.
Wow. Wow, that's good. So this gives a lot of hope for people because I think people have the idea that for you to be a lecturer, you need to go through doctorate degree first, and but you're saying out of experience and out of your expertise, you've been able to actually help people practically with what's on the ground.
Yeah, actually, my opinion about digital, and my boss shares that opinion, is with digital is not it's not a theory type of a subject. It's a practical subject. It only works for somebody who's passionate.
Yeah, great.
Because and right now we have a gap with our universities in Zimbabwe for marketing. When I'm hiring and I'm interviewing a marketing student from maybe Chinoi University or the or or even the UZ, they're clueless about digital. Like they've got it on paper, but they're
But the
clueless.
practical aspect,
But if I
yes.
interview somebody who's been studying in South Africa or Namibia or the UK, they're switched on, they understand.
Yes.
So I then end up going with somebody who actually hasn't got a degree, but they know they've got a passion.
Done it, yes.
And actually, there's a girl on my team. She has no marketing degree, but she's brilliant because everything she's done is self-taught.
Wow. So you're saying that, in other words, for us to really make changes with digital, in teaching people, we need to make it as practical as possible.
Yeah, and especially with the university, there's got to be a module somewhere in the marketing module for universities all over Zimbabwe for them, because their students are coming out. Yes, they're very good. They've got very, very theory driven, you know.
Concepts
But
and whatever, yeah.
because when we interview them, we give them an assignment, put together a digital campaign, a digital strategy. And it's got
I
this
know.
360 approach to it because they're clueless.
Yeah. So you've been making strides to do that. I see that you're actually training people so that this is how it's done, because you already deal with major companies anyway. Yeah. How far do you think that has gone in terms of your own personal life? Do you have any future aspirations to grow that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, now that I've gone regional,
Yeah.
yeah, I've got plans to go into other countries. And obviously, just to develop even a relationship with the universities, because, like I'm saying, the marketing degrees in Zim are not covering digital. And so they're presenting, they have to be bridged somewhere. They need a bridging course
All right,
to
yes.
prepare them for the working force, because they're coming into the market and they have no clue what
Yeah.
digital marketing is and what it entails.
Yeah, I've seen that Marketers Association of Zimbabwe, where you also lecture, where we call lecture, there's been coming up with new modules. Is there anything exciting that you might share, that you know of, like for young people to want to bridge, that knowledge and get practical?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would recommend them to sign up for the certificate, not just the course, for the certificate level.
Okay.
Yeah, that one would be good for somebody who's trying to bridge so that they can
What
get into the
content
market.
can they expect to get from that? And will they see you?
Of course, they'll see me. Like basically, we want to teach them everything. What exactly is digital marketing? Defining them,
Yeah.
the platforms, the channels, bringing it into
Exactly.
the Zim context.
Oh, yeah.
What ads are, how to run an ad campaign, all those things.
Oh, yeah. So you're talking about the training, like with digital. Right? I think for a lot of people, when they think digital marketing, they just think social media. So you're not like head of social, because I understand in other agencies you can actually have a head of social media,
Yes.
but then you have head of digital. So what scope is digital now marketing? Is
Okay,
it just
digital-
social media or
No, digital now is just everything from app development,
Mobile
game
apps.
development,
Wow.
Google ads, advertising on YouTube,
right,
all that. The website itself, the user experience,
right,
all
right?
that feeds
Wow.
into, because sometimes for campaigns you can even create a microsite, a temporary site just to
Yes.
push a campaign. So there's a lot actually that, and so there's so many jobs that are within digital marketing. It's almost like medicine, where everybody does medicine, but some people specialize. So with digital marketing, you can find an area where some people just specialize in search engine optimization,
Right, yes.
and all they just
Somebody
do.
on radio right now is asking, what in the world is search engine optimization?
It's basically like when your website has got certain keywords that will make your website appear. When you first go on Google,
Yeah.
when you Google something, there's certain websites that pop up on the
Right,
first page.
Yes.
So it's actually a skill that started for over time, and you've got to have a passion for it, because it takes a lot to find keywords and tracking and all sorts. I've done the course, but I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I haven't specialized in it, but I
SEO.
understand it, and I can tell if
Tell,
the
yes.
botched SEO job has been done
Done,
on
exactly.
a website.
Yeah.
So you can specialize in just search engine. If you're not a people person and maybe you want to focus on the statistics part of marketing, you can be a data analytic person.
Wow,
just
yes.
be working on the data. So there's a lot of things that are in, and then there's people. And then maybe you need just someone who just does copy, and someone
Yes.
just then posts to Facebook, because the person who posts to Facebook doesn't have to be the one who does the
so
community
copywriter.
management. So there's quite a lot and a lot of opportunities within areas of specialization that people are not aware of.
Wow, with digital.
Yes.
Wow. So we want to talk about like with the training. You mentioned that you're the Econet, and then you have Mars. I noticed that you're doing the Institute of Malawi, like for marketing, right? Do you also like coach young people or young ladies? Because there's somebody asking, can this person also be a mentor or something like that?
Yes, actually what happens is a lot of my students from the Marketers Association end up becoming my mentees.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then also from LinkedIn, I've connected with some, young men and women. Or they'll be asking like, what should I do? What course should I take?
Exactly.
And stuff like that. And then I also just recommend just anyone to take the free Google that digital garage certification.
yes.
It's like entry level. If you've got access to Wi-Fi and you just want to have an understanding of digital marketing, Google has got free courses that
Right.
you can take advantage of.
Oh, education has become almost free nowadays, huh?
Yeah, but it's just in Zoom. I think our issue is more with access to the internet, which is
yeah.
another thing that I'm passionate about. I think you know that I'm a digital literacy advocate. I was talking
yes.
about women, and I was saying that according to the stats, 18% of women have access to the internet. So it means that they're lagging behind, even in terms of business. They are not really milking the digital space.
Yes.
And the current content creators and bloggers only constitute to 30% female.
Ish.
So we're not really milking it. So I'm passionate about like getting women to know how best they can milk
Yeah.
the digital space.
And I know, like, you find that women have this gift of intuition that they have. And my experience is when you deal with social media people who are women, they just have this intuition about them, about audiences, and how they can actually connect with audiences. So would you say there needs to be that more of a push and a drive in terms of the girl child being involved with social media?
Yes, I would really like to see that. But now, like I was saying, it's the access to the internet. Google courses are free, but where are they going to get the data?
All right.
They don't even have access to smartphones. So I think that gap, I wish maybe
So those who do have the privilege, because you have a lot of people who are just on Instagram and on TikTok, but are not really doing anything in terms of business. They're just there for fun. So these ones should take opportunity.
Yeah, but
to
like I'm
do-
saying, even if someone doesn't have O levels, but they've a very good hairdresser, what can stop them from running, from having a channel on YouTube and generating income
right, yes.
on how-tos or how to braid, or maybe somebody who's just good with their hands. They make nice wigs, braid wigs. You can get, instead of sitting down for 5 hours for braids, you can get a braid wig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but someone like that, imagine if they knew how to use Facebook or Google Ads to sell,
That
or
would
an
be,
e-commerce
yes.
site. So my heart is really, I wish that this SDG for women could just address the access bit. Like there should be ways where women can go somewhere where there's free internet and they just learn the basics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're gonna take another break. We want to we've looked at the training aspect. We've looked at who Taffy is. We now want to get into the personal branding aspect, because you've built a big personal brand. So it's a question that a lot of people ask: how do I start? What do I post? So we're gonna get that right in our next segment. We're gonna take a short break.
Preventing new HIV infections and AIDS-related deaths among children, adolescent girls, and women remains very important. The Organization of African First Ladies for Development, WAFLAD, the African Union, and their partners are essential to advancing this global goal. We have made significant gains in reducing the transmission of HIV from mother to child, but progress has been stalled across the continent. And even here in Zimbabwe, as of 2019, the rate of mother to child transmission of HIV is 8%, and this is concerning when the target is to get to less than 5%. One of the many reasons for continued mother to child transmission of HIV is that many women living with HIV are not retained on treatment and the viral load is not monitored. throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding. It is important that every pregnant woman has access to antenatal care. Booking for antenatal care is the first step to protecting the health of the pregnant woman and her unborn child. Once HIV positive women initiate antiretroviral therapy, they should not interrupt their treatment. Antiretroviral treatment is for life. It is important that husbands, fathers, and partners understand the risk of HIV transmission to their partner and child. We need communities to support mothers and families. I encourage peer support groups of women living with HIV, such as mentor mothers, to support each other throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding. We must also see how to address other barriers, such as user fees and long distances to clinics. I know that women face too many challenges, barriers to protecting their health. As a mother of the nation, I firmly believe that HIV transmission from a woman to a child can be prevented. I commit to continue working with adolescent girls and women, with communities and healthcare providers to make an AIDS-free generation a reality.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're back again with Tafi Gotora. We've just been looking at digital marketing. We've been looking at her career as a social media marketing trainer and head of digital. Now we want to get into the personal brand aspect of things, right? So, how does someone actually build a personal brand? Because when people say Tafi Gotora, there's now a ring to it to say
Tafi L.
Oh, Tafi L. What's the L anyway? I didn't ask.
Okay, I did a Google search and on Facebook, there are a lot of Tafas Gotoras, male and female.
Okay, I see.
So that's why, because when you're branding, you want to be distinctive. So
That's key.
if you've got a common name like mine and a common surname, I would recommend you put your initial on on your branding. So now everywhere it's Tafi L Gotora, because I've met a chick Anton's Tafi Gotora.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
and we're not even related.
Yeah.
So I'm very intentional about the L part. So the first start is to make sure that your name
It's distinct.
is distinct.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then the whole Digital Bae, it was first a nickname, but I've just made it a moniker for
yeah.
my.
Yeah, and that has brought out quite that character. So someone is asking, okay, how do I start with a personal brand? I don't have content. I don't even know where I'm positioning myself. How did you do it?
Can I tell them something for free?
I like that, for free. So do you hear that, listeners? You're getting
some people charge for
consulting
these
advice.
things.
Yes.
Some people charge for these things,
Yeah.
but you don't need to share your necessarily, especially on LinkedIn. I know a CEO who was hired of a top blue chip company in Zim,
Yeah.
who was hired because of what she used to share, and most of the things she was sharing on LinkedIn were articles. But what she would do was she would add a commentary.
Okay.
So maybe you can think, what are your thoughts?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So like maybe you want to get into the digital space, share anything is there a new feature on LinkedIn? Is there a new button on Facebook? Share it and put a little commentary. Two sentences max. It's okay. Then over time you can start writing opinion articles on LinkedIn and stuff. So personal branding just starts with what you show to, because a personal brand is what people know you for.
Oh, yes.
Or remember you for. So sell your unique selling feature. What is it about you? Yes, you've got a boutique, but what is it about your boutique business that makes people want to come? Is it because of your smile? Is it because you go all out with the packaging?
Right.
Is it because you then give free tips for what the style tips when they buy the dresses?
Yes.
So it's that extra flavor that comes from you. You're unique. Everybody's got a unique thing that appeals to them. And with me, I think it's just that I love digital. And then because I also involved with a lot of women things, women functions.
Yes.
So somebody who's into like women empowerment and whatever will want to just, because Tafi is all about women and women supporting each other, they will want to go with me because we share the same values. So sometimes even the things where you value. So personal branding just starts with yourself, identifying your strengths and showing off your strengths. Your wins, celebrate them. You finish a course on LinkedIn, post it. LinkedIn's got free courses.
Oh yes.
So if you sign up for a premium account on a trial, you enter a MasterCard or Visa card,
Yes.
and then you make sure that on the 30th day you sign off. But in those 30 days, you can access free courses.
Yeah.
Those
They're
free
very good
courses
yes.
are very good selling points. So that's another free tip from Digital Bae.
Yeah.
Sign up for a trial on LinkedIn, learn from their courses, and then after 30 days and at no charge.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So investing, what I'm hearing from you is just be distinctive, share any bit of progress that you have, share commentary, opinion articles. Somebody is saying, well, I can't write, so should I write, or what do you suggest? Should
Like
I
I
just
said,
go with my strength?
Go with your strength and just, if you like the article, share what it is that you like about the article. 2 sentences.
2 sentences only.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Or
'cause
very
people-
insightful.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just write very insightful.
Yeah.
And then people in your network are like, this young man,
He's always commenting on the.
he reads, he's deep, he wants to, he's a
Yeah.
digital guy, he wants to stay abreast with what's happening in the digital
Yeah.
space. So, you don't have to be, we can't all be writers.
Oh yes.
Like
so
tough.
what I'm gathering is you must be visible, because I think a lot of we overthink content. Because a lot of people, when they start thinking personal brand, they start thinking, I need this huge article, I need this nice crisp video, I need
No.
yeah.
And then also just be careful what you share, because now I have to be honest. If somebody doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, I don't hire them, because that's where I look them up.
Wow.
And people have lost jobs on because of what they posted on
Because of social
Facebook.
media,
Remember what
yeah.
happened in South Africa? A lady commented that there were monkeys at Durban, and she was working for a real estate company.
Oh.
Within 5 days, the woman who commented about black people being at
Oh,
Durban,
that's terrible. Yeah.
but within 5 days, the real estate company had disowned her.
Yes.
So things like that can
It's
cause.
difficult to get a job after you
So
had that.
especially if you've listed your company as your employer, be very careful because it has a bearing somehow. So
Yes.
don't post controversial stuff, and because it can affect your brand.
Oh yeah. So okay, that's beautiful. So does someone have to have targets? What would you say, like within the personal brand space, in terms of you now making money out of it? Because a lot of people will say, yes, we realize that there are a lot of personal brands in the world who charge for influencer marketing. Is that the only way, or your personal brand? What's the value of it?
The personal brand is just for you, for business.
Right.
Even not just for business, but personal brand also works even for career. Like I was saying, people have lost that racist white woman lost her job
Yeah.
because of what she posted on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
So personal branding goes as far as that: what you like, what you comment on, what you share.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people will say, hey, if I have the networks, I don't need to develop a personal brand on social media. What would you say in response to that?
I think if you don't want to be on Facebook, I understand. But LinkedIn, you've got to be on
LinkedIn is
LinkedIn.
critical, huh?
It's not just a business-to-business platform, but it's now a networking platform. I've connected, and actually, for me to co-author the book, I co-authored with an American publisher.
We need to talk about
We
the
connected
book,
on
yeah.
Twitter.
Okay, so let me say this. She has actually been a co-author for a book that is international. Tell us more about that.
So I saw it on Twitter, and then we connected. Her name is Sabatekle.
Right.
And then
What's the name of the book?
It's 20 Beautiful Women Africa
20
edition.
Beautiful Women,
It's an
Africa
anthology.
edition.
So there were like
Wow.
20 African authors and some Black American ones.
Mm.
But we connected on Twitter. And from that relationship, the fact that I co-authored that book, I then got the opportunity, because Saba was friends with Sean Gardner. Sean Gardner is, at one time, I think over 3 years, he was the Forbes most top influencer,
Wow.
social media influencer, Sean Gardner.
Yes.
And Sean Gardner connected with all of us, and he got us an opportunity to be Huffington Post contributors at that time.
Wow.
Although the platform has since been shut down, but our articles are still there. But I became like the first Zimbabwean and people would ask, how did you get to
Huffington Post.
but it was through like I'm saying, and it was through web relationships.
Exactly.
I connected with Saba then connected me with Sean, is my Facebook friend, is recommended me on LinkedIn.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and to have a
and
name
it's
like that recommending you is
exactly.
a lot. Yeah, it is.
So at the end of the day, if you don't want to go on social media, you're missing out. At least be on LinkedIn. I understand Facebook can be a bit much, but
Yeah.
LinkedIn is a must for anybody who's in the corporate space or even in business.
Wow. So, wow, this is beautiful. We've spoken about personal brand, where it has taken you as far as the Huffington Post, and you've spoken about how simply someone can just start posting in commentary sort of sections. So now we want to ask a little more about where digital marketing is right now, because obviously you now have these connections. You've gone places. What would you say now to somebody who looks at you and says, okay, I want to start this digital marketing career? Where can they say, I'm starting here? What would be the fastest way, or the most convenient way, or the best way career wise to start?
For me, my recommendation is the Google free course.
Good recourse.
And then if
right?
you put together some sense, then you can go to Mars,
Yeah.
sign up for the courses that are being offered by Marketers Association.
Yes.
But like I've said, let's make use of the Google. If you've got access to Wi-Fi or internet.
Yes, and just start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Where would you say the digital marketing space is right now in terms of, you've spoken about campaigns you've run, right, in advertising? Was it always there as a digital department, or actually came in and they were trying to build it? You becoming a head of digital there. Could you tell us more about the experience?
Actually, when I got there, they were just starting,
Okay.
and there were two of us.
Wow. So it was just the two of you, and this is digital.
Yeah, actually, and then there was a third guy, but he was like an AE. He had a couple of
Yeah. AE account executive.
sort of, but he wasn't really hands-on as the two of us.
Okay.
And then over the time, I've seen the department grow from, I think they had like 4 clients. Now we've got nearly 20 clients.
Yikes.
And,
That's
you know,
probably
a team of
portfolio
12.
20 clients.
Yeah, some is for websites, some is for games and apps and,
Yeah.
social media management and all that.
Oh, that's a lot, eh? So you literally
I've grown with the
you've grown
department.
yeah, like that's quite something, because my experience has been, with a lot of advertising agencies here in Zimbabwe. You have your traditional print media, your media buying, you have your creative, but now the digital has come in because of the introduction of the internet into Zimbabwe. And now, data right now, yes, it's expensive and a lot of people don't have access to it, but relatively now it's better than a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you've managed to see it actually grow within a department.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say now is the future, really?
The future is digital, and now with this COVID moment that we're in, we don't know how many other strains are going to come and how many times we will be given lockdowns, like absolute lockdowns,
Exactly.
like the one we recently were in. So digital is no longer an option.
Yeah, people were shaken with the introduction of the pandemic.
Yeah, people started to appreciate it more, and so because of that, it has grown. Although I must say that in terms of uptake of social media,
Yes.
it's still slow. So there's a lot of opportunities for people. It's not flooded
Wow.
because there's still more people to be onboarded to social media. Because right now I think it's, only 4.8 million Zimbabweans have access to the internet, according to the stats and the data report. And so from those 5 million, only 1 million are on social media. So even still, for other campaigns, we can have Google ads, we can have YouTube ads. So it's still growing, and yet there's a population of almost 14. The other 4 are out of the country to make up the 17.
17, yeah.
So it's a growing space. So I would encourage anybody who's just tech savvy and enjoys it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
The things that people struggle with when it comes to social media is maybe they play around with it, but they don't know how to actually approach a client. How did you say it is the easiest way that someone can say, okay, I need to at least have just one client? Because that's the first break that someone needs to start that career.
Yeah, but like approaching a client, I think you need paper now.
Okay.
Before anything else, at least I've got a qualification from the Marketers Association,
Oh yeah.
and then someone can trust you.
Yeah.
Because they know that at least you've got the entry level or you've got the Google certification.
Yeah.
Then they can trust you with their brand.
Is there open space, like, for if someone is saying, hey, me approaching clients, I need to learn from someone? How open are companies and ad agencies to someone learning social media? Say, hey, can I do your social media for you? I can grow with you.
We're very open actually at Barkers, and we actually also do trainings for corporates,
Okay.
like just to help an organization to understand, a team
Social media.
Yeah, we
So
were in
teams,
that
like for
space.
example, are you looking at maybe customer service? Because
Yeah,
I see a lot of people.
we actually trained some for last year. I did some trainings for a client's contact center.
Oh yeah, because I've noticed that with a lot of the other companies, when it comes to answering inquiries via social media, you actually need someone who's used to answering queries.
So, and we had to tell them how to find, because sometimes how to find reviews, because sometimes someone can complain on a
Oh,
review.
and no
We
one
tell them to
notices.
refresh, you go to communities, and then you can see the post onto the page, because you can easily not get the notification.
Yes.
So there's so many other things that we do at Barkers, but like we're very open. Actually, when I joined, there wasn't a position for me,
Mm.
but they said you can come as an intern, and then within a month I had impressed.
Wow.
But so we love growth, and got a lot of self-taught people on our team, and they're brilliant.
Brilliant people, yeah. Yeah, because on the aspect of social media, like I think there's an aspect of public relations there. I just thought I would throw that in because you're talking about reviews. I've seen some pages with reviews that no one knows that are there, and maybe somebody says something that actually draws away customers entirely. Yeah. So have you had those sorts of experiences, and how do you actually deal with that?
Okay, like I always tell my students at the Marketers Association that the way digital marketing is it's not just the marketing department's response. When it comes to social media, the PR side is there,
Yeah.
customer services is there, sales is there, because we will tell you how many. Because sometimes sales may not be hands-on, but we'll tell you people are inquiring about this product. Maybe it's insurance.
Yes.
We'll tell you people are inquiring about funeral policies or life insurance. You know what I mean? So there's like a cohesion now
Oh yeah.
between sales. There's a cohesion between the customer services,
Yes.
because people are complaining, and then there's the PR side. Before something a crisis, before it becomes a PR crisis, you can nip it in the
Yes.
bud if you just respond to the person because sometimes the person doesn't complain on your page, but they mention your
complain.
brand
Exactly.
on their status. So there's also we've got listening tools that we use, social listening tools that we use for our clients at Barkers, where we can monitor what people are saying, even if it's not necessarily on our page, and even if they don't mention the full brand name.
But you can track and see, okay,
Yes.
this is what people are saying about
Yes.
our client.
Yes.
Well, that's very useful because, yeah, I've seen crises. I mean, we've seen crises over even the earlier part of this year. Somebody either makes a comment that is, racially inclined, or there is a product that someone shows an image of it on their particular Twitter page, and then every Twitter handle rather, and then everybody starts retweeting it, and it becomes something negative to say, okay, this product is poorly done, and then there come people who actually support it and say, yes, I also bought the same product, it did this and that. That can actually crash a business. Huh?
Yeah. Yes. And so that's why over and above like just social media, because people think sometimes when you're doing social media management, you're just posting a nice picture and writing something
yes.
nice, but there's a lot at play. There's a PR side, there's a online reputation management that's actually
Right.
being done by an agency,
Yes.
and things like that.
Wow, your reputation is big. I was listening to, I think it was Jeff Bezos. He was talking about Amazon, and he said your reputation is only as good as your team is willing to do the hard things. So social media is actually hard. I mean, people think it's like you're saying, just posting nice things, but you actually have to be on your feet.
Yes.
Yeah. What would you say is the difference between somebody who's just posting and somebody who actually sits down and is an expert in social media?
Okay, the
What are
difference
the
is
skill sets?
okay. I just want to make this clear to the public. Traditional advertising, it talks at. It's a
Okay.
hard sell. But when Taffy goes on Facebook,
Yeah.
she just wants to see what her friends are up to and her favorite. I'm a LeBron James fan. I want to know what happened with the Lakers game
Lakers
if I
game, yes.
manage. So if I'm just seeing ads from your page, chances are I won't even. I'll
Yeah.
probably just like it and never go back to it.
Exactly.
So social media is you're now talking to. You're not talking at
Yes.
like traditional
Yes.
advertising.
Yes.
So you can't just be just advertising and putting your picture that you use for the press ad on your Facebook
Facebook,
page.
yes.
Nobody's gonna engage with it.
Mm.
I want you to talk about what I like. But if a brand is talking about LeBron James, I'm likely gonna share the post because I like LeBron James.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Hey,
how
hey.
it is. You're talking to, and content and whatever you share and stuff is not about your brand. It's not all about. It's like the rule of the thirds. At least the third should be about you, and the rest are about people that you're talking to, the
Right.
audience that you're talking to.
Wow, brilliant. We're going to take our last commercial break, guys. We will be right back in just a moment.
Preventing new HIV infections and AIDS-related deaths among children, adolescent girls, and women remains very important. The Organization of African First Ladies for Development, WAFLAD, the African Union, and their partners are essential to advancing this global goal. We have made significant gains in reducing the transmission of HIV from mother to child, but progress has been stalled across the continent. And even here in Zimbabwe, as of 2019, the rate of mother to child transmission of HIV is 8%, and this is concerning when the target is to get to less than 5%. One of the main reasons for continued mother to child transmission of HIV is that many women living with HIV are not retained on treatment, and the viral load is not monitored throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding. It is important that every pregnant woman has access to antenatal care. Booking for antenatal care is the first step to protecting the health of the pregnant woman and their unborn child. Once HIV positive women initiate antiretroviral therapy, they should not interrupt their treatment. Antiretroviral treatment is for life. It is important that husbands, fathers, and partners understand the risk of HIV transmission to their partner and child. We need communities to support mothers and families. I encourage peer support groups of women living with HIV, such as mentor mothers, to support each other throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding. We must also see how to address other barriers, such as user fees and long distances to clinics. I know that women face too many challenges, barriers to protecting their health. As a mother of the nation, I firmly believe that HIV transmission from a woman to a child can be prevented. I commit to continue working with adolescent girls and women, with communities and healthcare providers to make an AIDS-free generation a reality.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're now back with our final segment for Selling Point. We're talking to Tafi El Gotora, aka Digital Bay. So we've given a lot of value in today's talk. We've spoken about personal branding. We've spoken about digital marketing and where it is right now, and how it is to lead a digital marketing department as a woman. So we want to have some parting shots now, and I'm gonna allow Tafi to just speak to a young woman out there who's saying, yeah. Um, well, I need some inspiration and some direction of some kind. How do I actually? I maybe they don't even have school. They're just starting out, and there's like, can I really make it in life? What would you say to that person who says, I've made mistakes. I didn't do my education, or my life is nowhere. Because a lot of people are actually depressed. It's a struggle to get data. Maybe they bumped into this program just because they were bored, and now they're listening in. What would you have to say to them?
I just want to say that that before I my career break, when I had a child out of wedlock, I've been
Wow.
unemployed,
Oh,
but
I didn't know that.
yes, and that doesn't define you. I didn't let setbacks define me. And my first job at an agency, my contract was not renewed, but I refused to let it define me.
Yeah.
And when I see where I am and the strides I've made, it's because I just chose to look at it as okay, it didn't work with this agency, but I'm going to make myself better. I'm going to learn as much as I can, and I'm going to do a brilliant job. And I've built myself a good name through my work because I refuse to be defined by circumstances.
Wow, that's brilliant. Awesome. So we're gonna have a little game that we're gonna play. It's a traditional thing that we do here at Selling Point. We want to get to know more of the personal side of her preferences and what she likes. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions that are in either or format. Are you ready? Yeah. So let's start off with this. Blue or green?
Blue.
Why?
I'm just a blue person. I wore green all my life. I went to school, junior school, I wore green and white.
Ah, I
High
see.
school, GHS, we wore green and white.
Ah, I
So
see. So
I'm
you'd
done
prefer
with
blue.
green. Yeah,
Okay, Pablo's or Pomeric?
Pablos.
Oh, okay. Why?
I'm just a Pablos person.
Ah, you've been there.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So Pablo's or Meriki, she chose Pablo's, Sadza or rice.
Sadza.
Ah, that's nice. A lot of people will say, oh, rice and all this. Or why would you prefer Sadza?
I don't know. I just like my Sadza.
Yeah, it's just been like that from the time you were a kid.
No, not when I was a kid, obviously, but when I became
Oh.
an adult.
You wanted the Sadza.
Now I appreciate
Oh, okay. Cornflakes or Cerevita?
cornflakes.
Okay.
Watching our weight, you know how it is.
Ah, I see. So
You know,
you're very
I'm a-
health conscious, huh?
Yeah, apart from what I do, I'm also a brand influencer. I have people that ask me to wear their dresses
Wow.
to sell and stuff. So obviously, I need to look good. My figure needs to be on point
Yeah.
for the dresses to sell.
That's an interesting aspect we hadn't actually touched on. You're actually an influencer, and brands actually approach you for the clothing side of things.
Yes.
Oh wow, how did that happen? Like, did they just saw your personal brand? They're like, okay, could you?
Well, a lot of people just say, "Uno fit kwa neembe."
Ah,
And do you want to wear? So like this, I met someone at our office who delivered a dress to my workmate, and then she said, "I've seen you. I want to dress you for your next event."
wow.
Just like that. So yeah, she said she'd send me online.
Mm,
So that's how the opportunities come. I don't really look for them.
yeah. Wow, that's just brilliant, man. I mean, it shows that your personal brand goes beyond just work. It can actually open up other doors for you. Well, thank you so much for visiting us, Tafi El Gotora. We've had a brilliant show. Where can people get a hold of you if they want to reach Digital Bay?
If you want to reach Digital Bay, LinkedIn, I'm Tafi El Gotora.
Mm.
Facebook, I'm Tafi El Gotora. And Twitter as well, if you look for Tafi El Gotora.
Yeah.
It's not my handle though, but my name. And the same for Instagram.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. So, thank you guys for joining us for another edition of Selling Point. Stay safe, stay masked, stay, keep your social distancing, and do your best. Thank you for everyone for joining us, and have a lovely day.